ways of managing your finances and finding happiness through your money. Part one is on values, needs, wants, and goals. And this is the foundation. This is the very first part of any type of managing your finances, handling your debt, getting out of debt. And I really want on this journey of budgets and finance to be one of happiness and joy. A lot of other financial advisors out there, they tend to take this, are you frustrated? Are you mad? Are you done with it? And maybe you are. Maybe you are mad at the way your finances are being handled and you want it changed. But I fear that if you are solely motivated by your anger at the way your finances are, well, don't you see that eventually you'll make the right decisions, you'll get your finances straightened out, you won't be mad anymore. And then I fear that those old habits are going to creep back into it. It's just going to be this cycle, this vicious cycle. And so I want finance to be a source of happiness. I want this to be something that you look forward to, and you have goals that will bring you happiness. And those goals will never really be satisfied. That'll keep you diligent. That'll keep you working towards always being mindful of how you're spending your money. So to get started on step one here, the first process, the first thing you've got to do is establish what your values are. Your values come from a variety of sources. When you're young, like in your childish years up until maybe 12, 13, 14, your values are pretty much just a carbon copy of what your parents have got going on. And as you move through your teenage years into your early 20s, you're going to start adopting values more based on your friends or possibly some social media, commercial aspects and things of that. And as you work through your 20s and 30s, your values really will become your own. And so here's the process, or here's the problem. We can't wait until we're 30 to figure out what our values are. We need to get a bit of an earlier start on that. So your first step is to establish what your values are. And that's going to start with you first. You can put together a list of the things that you really care about, the things that you think are important to you. But then you're going to have some homework. So here we are already starting the homework. If you are, like I say, yes, less than 25 years old, your homework is to take these values that you think you have. I hate to be blunt, but that's what they are. Values that you think you have. And you need to have a conversation with somebody who's in their 50s, perhaps this is a parent or a guardian, or maybe an uncle or an aunt, grandparent, somebody that's older than 50. And we're going to take your values as they are now as a 25 or younger, and you're welcome to do this even if you are older than 25, and you can compare those values with somebody who's kind of been there, done that, and has a t-shirt. And hopefully they, out of a position of love, will share with you their thoughts of what they think you should value as you get older. And that will create a long-term roadmap that will guide all of your spending habits. And every spending decision is going to kind of come back to what are these values. And so this is a really important step to have, is establish what you think you value, and having a conversation with somebody who's 50 years or older, and kind of take from their wisdom a roadmap for your future. Now, with that list of values and in place, now we're going to have a conversation about what your needs are. Now, if you've taken any type of social science class, you've probably heard your needs as, food, water, and shelter. And while those are good needs, we do need to have, our shelter in America can be more than just a blue tarp down by the river. And food does not need to be gruel and macaroni and cheese. Yeah, there'll be meals, but not always. Now, that being said, need level food isn't going to be, seafood and expensive cuts of meat and this, that, and the other all the time either. There's a time and a place. but we are going to buy groceries, healthy groceries here. So you need to establish what some needs are in your budget. Now, these needs are going to be expenses that you will be paying every month. So don't get crazy. I get a little nervous about like the slippery slope of, you know, needs can be decent clothes, and needs can be decent shelter, needs can be decent transportation. But these needs are going to be expenses you're paying every month. So we need to be a little bit mindful of just how much we start stacking into that needs category. You may need a cell phone, absolutely. You may need internet, in your apartment or your house, absolutely. All very good examples of needs. Just be careful at the slippery slope that we don't start stacking too much into our need category that we have to pay for every month. So moving beyond, once you've established what some need categories are going to be, these are things that you're going to have to pay for every month. We're now going to move into some wants. And again, we want to be careful. Our wants are going to be things that we can financially save up for and achieve within a few months. We don't want to be super crazy with our wants. We don't want them to be terribly expensive or elaborate. But our wants are kind of the things that make life worth living. And we're going to, again, our values are going to drive and control what we're establishing as our wants. Once we have our needs and our wants laid out, written down, put someplace where we can track them, at least for a moment, now we can move on into our goals. Okay? Now, goals are incredibly important in this process of keeping us true to our needs and our wants. See, the world's full of what I call squirrels. Okay, it's those opportunities that come along, they kind of squirrel you. Turn and look, and you're distracted from what it is you're trying to accomplish at the moment. Okay, these goals will help us in focusing on what it is that we truly want to accomplish, what's going to truly bring us happiness. See, squirrels, they're going to bring you short-term joy, but they distract you from being able to accomplish what it is you really want. And we call these distractions opportunity costs. Now, hopefully, as these squirrels come up, as these opportunities present themselves, anything that would truly distract you from a goal that you're currently working on would be a good opportunity. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just that we've got to be mindful of what they are and compare that to our values. Our values will help guide whether or not we're going to put our current goal on hold. We're going to press that pause button and go chase this other opportunity cost. For instance, several years ago, my family had the opportunity to go to Disneyland in California. Something we can drive to. Transportation wasn't expensive. We had needed to go for other family events anyway. And we happened to have some brother-in-laws who worked for Disney and could walk us on. But the way the schedule worked is we could only get our family into Disney for free, which is a great blessing, granted. But we could only get them into Disney for free for one day. But of course, we knew this trip was coming up, and so we've been saving some money. We had a goal. We wanted to take the family to Disneyland. So with some favors from our from our family, we could have 2 epic days in Disneyland. Or we could have 1 day in Disneyland for free and have 1 really phenomenal day in the LA area. Maybe go have some seafood, some nice dinners, go to some nice places, do something really fun with that extra money. Both are valid decisions, both are good opportunities, but we can only do one. So we go back to our values to help us decide which opportunity we're going to pursue. And I've got 2 young daughters at home. You can see where the value is going to come here. Yeah, it wasn't much of a decision to say, let's go ahead and do 2 days in Disney so that the girls can see their princesses and go do some fun stuff, right? Meanwhile, me and the boy are we're gonna ride some rides. We'll have some fun as we can, right? Trying to make the best of this less than best decision from my perspective, but they're both good opportunities. These values will help guide and direct you as these distractions come up, these opportunity costs avail themselves. So here's your homework. get together a list of values of what you want to accomplish with your life. Have a conversation with somebody that's 50 years old or older that's going to lend some wisdom to what those values are. Outline some needs that you're going to have to pay every month, a few wants that you would like to save up over the course of a couple of months to accomplish some wants. And with that put together, come up with some goals for those wants. And that wraps it up for part one. We'll see you for part two. Thank you very much. Make it a great day.